Some of the views and opinions expressed in the content discussed do not necessarily reflect the views or beliefs of the hosts and or anyone affiliated with the Our Thoughts podcast. This has been your disclaimer. What is a rollout? Well, basically it's how an artist builds hype for their albums, whether it be through social media posts, pop-up shops, music videos, freestyle rap ciphers, viral videos, mysterious billboards, you name it. Which begs the question,
Why?
why do a rollout? Why go through all the troubles of paying money for all this stuff when the music should speak for itself? Well, prior to iPhones and streaming apps, it was a little harder to listen to your favorite album or rewatch your favorite TV show episode. Either you had a Zune or a Walkman or an iPod Nano, or in the case of TV, you had to wait until you get home to pop the DVD in or hope that the rerun of that specific episode happened to be on that night. Fast forward to today and you can pretty much watch any TV show, any movie, listen to any album from any point in history and from every region in the world. And because of that, music artists aren't just competing against other music artists anymore. They're also looking at the TV shows, the TikToks, the podcasts, the YouTube videos, live streams, like say Our Thoughts Live, which is a weekly live show we do every single Thursday on this channel, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. We're all competing to get you to care and invest in what we're creating with one of the most valuable assets in this world. Your time. Couple that with everyone and their grandma with a laptop putting out music nowadays, and artists getting paid fractions of a penny on the dollar for each stream, and well, you gotta make a living somehow. Now that begs the question, how do you stand out? In today's media-driven world, artists have taken to creating moments to promote their music, whether it be a viral TikTok video, a scandalous podcast clip,
That's why I relate to girls with huge tits.
or to put it so elegantly, some fuck shit. Enter the Toronto-based duo named dvsn, which comprises of Daniel Daly on the vocals and 1985 on the beats. Touting themselves as the next kings of R&B, dvsn has already put their stamp on the R&B genre with classic records like Too Deep and Hallucinations, even snagging a feature on Drake's Views album, and have been cranking out quality album after quality album, utilizing sweeping, atmospheric production and angelic vocals that have guaranteed them spots into late-night playlists all around the world. However, in order to take their listenership to the next level, they did something in 2022 that not a lot of artists get to do, or even know how to do. Create a moment through their music. Now, leading up to the song's release, dvsn put out a series of videos on their YouTube channel showing test groups of different demographics reacting to an upcoming dvsn song. Some of them loved it.
Somebody finally said it.
Some of them not so much.
I think that the lyrics are triggering and problematic, and I'm still gonna shake my ass to it.
Either way, the clips were hilarious and spoke to an aspect of song making and song marketing that has changed mainstream music for better or for worse. Whether or not you agree with the song or not, shoot, regardless of if it's good, artists have taken to creating music that leaves some kind of impression upon first listening to it. Something that makes you turn your head, something that gets you invested. Which is why you see a lot of artists leaning into things like sex appeal, demonic imagery, sampling past songs that everyone recognizes even though it adds nothing to the song other than blatant nostalgia. But I digest. On the Rory and Mal podcast, dvsn had mentioned that no one had tackled this specific topic of relationships in a record that would end up being If I Get Caught. On their social media, If I Get Caught was promoted as one of the top 5 most toxic, honest songs of all time, alongside SZA's The Weeknd, Usher's Confessions Part 2, Drake's Marvin's Room, and Jay-Z's Song Cry. The table was set for what was being teased to be a very divisive song, and man, that they did.
Honestly, we going through that in this world right now.
I don't like that it's the truth, but there's a lot of truth in it.
Don't express any form of regret or interest in changing.
What if it was a woman that's singing, then would we be bashing her too?
Fuck that girl right there, and no matter to us. It is.
Physical cheating, that's fine with me. But emotional,
Worse.
it's worse.
Now look, what is the meaning of If I Get Caught? From the bravado in Daniel's voice, 1985's booming 808s, or the choir of fellas screaming the chorus like their lives depended on it. Many have concluded that purely and simply that this is in fact a cheater's anthem. And for the purpose of making this discussion a little more digestible, I'm going to be using another phrase to describe the act of cheating. Let's use mashing potatoes. Now, while the first listen may lead you to believe that this may simply be a song enabling the mashing of potatoes, there's actually something a little deeper below the surface. Daniel of dvsn explains, If I Get Caught is not about a guy that's mashing potatoes at all. It's about being in a situation where someone thinks that their partner is mashing potatoes on them just because they're being themselves and they see other people liking them. Everything that attracted you to them has now turned into your insecurity. Now that's where you get lines like,
Don't forget I was a fly nigga when you got here. Was charismatic when you got here. You knew about me when you got here. Now you're tripping, girl, it's not fair.
Then you get to the chorus that divided the nation. Division further explains that the real meaning behind the hook is that if someone were to mash potatoes, it wouldn't necessarily be because they're not in love with their partner anymore. It'd be because they needed something or someone to boost their wounded ego. And that's where the real discussion from the record lies. Can you mash potatoes on someone and still love them? Now that we got that out the way, let's discuss this Jay-Z sample, which is just iconic and catchy as hell. The sample comes from Jay-Z's song Cry, where he reminisces on the end of a long-term relationship that involved a woman loving him despite the ghetto buffoonery and his newfound fame and infidelity.
You don't throw away what we had just like that. I was them girls, I was gonna get right back.
This eventually led to the woman moving on to a new relationship without even letting him know, which would actually go on to reflect the story of the album that If I Get Caught would end up being a part of, but we'll get back to that in a bit. This right here is how you sample a popular song tastefully. You don't just copy and paste the chorus of a song everybody knows, just say you sampled the Bee Gees.
He said, try me 100 times. Wanted me to lie, wanted me to cry, wanted me to staying alive. I don't know about you. It's incredible.
What Division did was take a bit of a Jay-Z record that is relevant to the themes of their song and the album and has it add to the overall record as opposed to being the only memorable thing about the song. All right, I'll get off my high horse now, so let's go ahead and move on and talk about the music video for If I Get Caught. As I said before, this song, If I Get Caught, sparked so much debate among its listeners. There were people who supported the record with their whole chest, people that were disgusted by it, some people who would bump the song in secret. Either way, I think the music video did a great job at playing off of the viewers' expectations of what a video for this song would look like in a playful, self-aware way.
My grandma gave me this.
Fuck your brain.
The video starts off with Daniel going on a night out with the fellas, which Daniel's partner already has an issue with. She then proceeds to go through her phone that was left on the table and find some other girls sending some pretty freaky deaky texts, leading her to assume that Daniel is cheating on her, mashing potatoes on her. We start to see images of Daniel with other women, living recklessly, while his partner proceeds to tear shit up. There's one scene where the girlfriend even calls her friend, to rant about this revelation, get some moral support, who then responds with a, fuck that dude, all men are trash, before getting back to cuddling up in bed with her man. This wasn't the only reveal though, because in the twist of events, we find out that the phone that she was looking through that caused her to write all over his Jordans, tear the house up, and swear death upon this man actually belonged to Daniel's friend, played by Mal of the Rory and Mal podcast.
I cannot believe I left my phone here all night. Thank you. You saw some crazy shit on here?
It's a hilarious, kind of self-aware twist on the song's story, flipping it so that way when you watch the music video back, the images of Daniel mashing potatoes comes off as the woman fantasizing the situation, almost romanticizing the idea of being able to tear up his Jordans and cause a ruckus. Daniel comes back to the crib, Mal picks up his phone, and all is right with the world. Now that we've gone over the moment that If I Get Caught created, that begs the question, is that all that Division brought to the table with this song? A song meant to trick people into thinking it's about enabling people who, mash potatoes? To understand the purpose of If I Get Caught in the bigger picture, we need to see what the bigger picture is. Let's discuss Division's 2022 album, Working on My Karma. When discussing the creative direction of the album, Daniel of Division stated, I wanted R&B to go into a new direction, which is having the fundamentals of the classic stuff and the conversation that is of today. And as you can tell from If I Get Caught, he definitely has the conversation and the debates of today. However, sonically, the album is a throwback to that 90s, 2000s R&B. Think Jodeci, Usher, 112, Jagged Edge, who actually features on one of the greatest songs of 2022, What's Up. I always say that this album is a masterclass in nighttime music, and I'm not talking about lullabies. You got some powerful slow jams, and Bring It and Touch It.
To a slow song tonight. That's what it is, better bring it. We fucking to
Some vulnerable records, a John Legend sample that gets flipped into such a catchy, upbeat New Orleans bop.
You know what I'm on at this time of night. Won't you turn around and just take it slow?
The album embodies all the heart, the infectious hooks, the silky ass beats, the storytelling, and one underrated aspect, the camp that helped make 2000s R&B so incredible. Coming back to If I Get Caught, when asked about how the song fits into the album, Daniel states, this album is a story. We started at the ego, and then naturally we go to all the places where that can get you. reflection, accountability, remorse, growth, and hopefully reapproaching all the things you failed at in the past. The next record, the one following If I Get Caught on the album, is a step in the right direction. Going into that record, the song is titled Stay Faithful, where we find the character deeply regretful of his actions in the previous song. He acknowledges the double standard and how much of a hypocrite he is, stating,
I used to tell you I'm different, lying with a straight face. What if you did things that I did? I get sick every time I think about it.
He discusses how he never had an emotional attachment with the woman he was mashing potatoes with, which falls in line with what If I Get Caught is about. You know, the idea that, can you mash potatoes on someone while loving them as well? Then we get to What's Up, which, hold on, give me a second. Which, as I mentioned before, is that record you want to sing at the top of your lungs outside your ex's house in the rain, wearing a tank top, wife pleaser, begging on your knees, please take me back. The record is about wanting to reach out to an ex after a bad breakup that the character caused and just wanting to ask questions.
Hey, how've you been? Yeah, I'm alright. How's your family? You still work at that cafe? Have you been seeing anyone? Where did we go wrong?
Jagged Edge, who I mentioned before, brings a whole other dimension to the song when they come in. Similar to how If I Get Caught has the choir of fellas you just met at the bar that you bought a round of drinks for, now you guys all have your arms around each other drunkenly screaming song lyrics. Jagged Edge on What's Up act almost as that older figure in your life that you're able to be vulnerable with, that you know has gone through their own journey.
Trent?
And is willing to hold you accountable on your bullshit. They pop in during the chorus, but they only come in once during any of the verses, during this part right here.
I should've just called you that night. Probably could've saved us from the fake love and the empty little link way.
And the fact that they come in on that particular line highlights to me that all of the sadness that this character is feeling right now is because of one single person. Himself. Now I want to fast forward and talk about one of the most powerfully written, most impactful, important records on the album, Daniel's Interlude.
Did I ever tell you about the person that ruined me?
This song right here is almost like the flashback episode in a TV show that explains everything. It doesn't quite justify it, but just explains it. He opens this interlude, this conversation discussing a past relationship that traumatized him and led him to be the person he is now. Someone who's disillusioned, jaded by love, someone who's hurt, even scared. This was the woman that taught him how to have sex. He was faithful and honest with her. However, one day he found out that she was cheating on him multiple times. And in being a broken-hearted young man with no guidance, he decided that if she can do it, so can I. Hurt people hurt people. He then goes on in the second verse to discuss his relationship with his mother and how they were super close before she married a man that, quote unquote, she barely knew and let him treat me how he wanted to, implying some sort of abuse as well as a loss of connection with his mom, leading to abandonment issues and intimacy issues that affect him to this day. The song fades out on Daniel pleading for forgiveness and acknowledging that the things that he has seen may be what makes him hard to love. Getting that vulnerable on a song allows us to see the pain and the trauma that can motivate an act as shitty and as self-destructive as mashing potatoes. That makes it all the more tragic when the album ends with the character going back to their player ways, this time being the secret lover of someone who is unhappy in their relationship. The album's final lyrics reveal that he was doing all of this mashing potatoes, all this running around, just to spite his first love who ended up mashing potatoes on him. Again, hurt people hurt people. Whew, go ahead and run that disclaimer one more time. I feel just icky right now. As good as a rollout can be, if the album is garbage, then all this effort in the rollout, the production of the songs and music videos, all feel kind of pointless. But in this case, it all works out because Division's working on my karma is incredible. So If I Get Caught is a conversation starter. What Working on My Karma did was take that conversation and put a whole story behind it, a whole character, and really delivers on creating a satisfying album that is also a love letter to what a lot of people would mention as traditional R&B. Division and their latest album is a breath of fresh air for the music scene, not just because of the amazing partnership between Daniel Daly's vocals and 1985's production, not just because of Jermaine Dupri's contributions that give this album all that nostalgic 2000s R&B feel, and not just because of the memorable songwriting and storytelling. This album was refreshing because it had a clear creative direction and it painted that picture through the rollout, the music videos, and lastly, the album. That creative direction proceeded to spark curiosity and emotions that then led to passionate conversation all throughout the world. All because of a 3-minute package of booming synths, pristine vocals, memorable songwriting, and a Jay-Z sample all playing at 3/4 time. That right there is the power of artistry. Hey there, Cesco here inviting you over to Our Thoughts Live, a weekly YouTube talk show that Matt and I do every Thursday at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST, where we give our thoughts on music, movies, pop culture, and anything else that's on our minds. We also love interacting with our community, The Thoughts, which we'd love for you to be a part of, so come on through, again, every Thursday evening. Hope to see you guys there.